Hi there. Welcome to another unit of C# programming at EnggForum. In this unit, we will learn how to connect database and execute queries. Now, in order to connect and execute queries in SQL Server, we need to have three things. 1. Location of server. 2. Query to execute. And 3. Execute given query. First, we need location of server. Details regarding data source, database name are available in connection string. You can find connection string at database properties. Also, a typical connection string has data source or location of server in data source. Next, database name in initial catalog field. Also, if integrated security is true, then username and password are ignored to connect database. In our example, we will use type var to store values in variables. For example, integer number is same as var number. Also, string name is functionally same as var name. Now, before we dive into our example, let's learn about two important methods, which are execute non-query and execute reader. Here, execute reader method will return the set of rows on execution of SQL query. Moreover, we will use this method in select statements. Next, we have execute non-query method. Execute non-query method will return number of rows affected with insert, delete, or update operations. Also, in our example, we will include namespace, system data SQL client. This namespace will provide classes for communicating with SQL Server. Here, we have SQL connection, which is a class that resides in data client and represents an open connection to SQL Server database. Also, class SQL command represents SQL statement to execute in a SQL database. Now, let's work out an example. Open Visual Studio. Create a database table with name, student. Here add columns, ID, and student name in table student. Also, insert some default values to table fields. Next, create a new Forms application. Here, we will create application to select values from database. First, place a button with text, select values. On select button click, we will select values from database table. Now, double-click select button and move to code view. First, initialize variable number with value 1. Now, include namespace, system data SQL client in our source code. Next, initialize a new instance of SQL connection class with connection string of our SQL database. Here, remember to add @ symbol to avoid escaping characters. We can find connection string in database properties. Next, store query in a variable. We have select query as select star from student, where ID equals parameter, some number. Here, query will get rows based on column ID. Next, initialize class SQL command with query and connection. Thus, we have query to be executed at given connection. Now, provide value to parameter. Follow syntax. Command.parameters, add with value and specify parameter and value. Here, we have parameter, some number with value number. Further, open connection to execute query. Here we have syntax, connection.open. Further, we have method, execute reader. Here, get output value to variable dr. Next, start of while loop. Loop around values in variable dr using method read. Here, inside while loop, get values from variable and display result. We can get values using index of columns or just provide name of columns stored in reader variable. Finally, close connection to database. Next, check output results. Here, we will have values from database shown. Thus, we have completed our simple example to fetch values from SQL. Next, you can try other DML statements from C# program. Thank you for taking this unit.